right, so we have a world-renowned clinical psychologist. She doesn't need any introduction, Dr. Judy Kuriansky, who really has done a tremendous job in this field as a certified relationship therapist. And so happy to have you in the studio with us, Judy. And there's a lot going on in the world, and I know...
As usual, yes.
Give us an update, by the way, what you're working on and what you're up to for a lot of listeners.
Oh, I'm doing so many things. I'm working on developing a youth employment program in Uganda. I just finished a book about Ebola, the psychosocial aspects of a deadly epidemic, because I was in Sierra Leone during
When
the
was
Ebola.
this?
This was in January during the Ebola epidemic. And when I came back, actually, I had to go into the watch program.
Oh, boy.
So I had to take my temperature twice. I wasn't exposed, thank God. But, you know, I did the whole 21 days
Is that
responsibly. Right? Yes, of course, because I was there during the time when the virus was still raging.
What did you notice while you were there? Just the status and the emotions of people over there. What was your observation?
I'd been to Sierra Leone before during the HIV epidemic, and also going around to radio stations talking on the radio about education. It was very depressing. People were depressed because there was curfew in effect. At 6 o'clock, everything was gone. The beaches were empty. The restaurants were closed. The schools were closed. You know, it was a very difficult time. Fortunately, things are abating a bit, but there are a lot of psychological feelings that people still have, the fears and
for many years,
distrust.
I'm sure.
Oh, yes. So that's why I wrote that book about it. And also, the biggest thing I'm celebrating, because on last Sunday, the governments of the world agreed on the 17 goals that they will accomplish by the year 2030. So from 2015, in the next 15 years, the governments of the world have agreed these are the things we are going to accomplish. They're called the Sustainable Development Goals. And since I'm the chair of the Psychology Coalition there, I work with different governments.
That's fantastic.
I partnered with the ambassador of Palau. And what do you think they are? Will we eradicate poverty in 15 years, do you think? Yes?
Well, I think we can make some effort into it.
You're so optimistic. That's wonderful. They agreed to do that. And
what else is in that 17
they
items?
agreed to establish gender equality and to have quality education for all and to have peaceful societies. Now, that's very relevant to you. You were just talking about Israel. I wrote a book called Beyond Bullets and Bombs about the Israelis and Palestinians working together for peace.
You've been in Israel before.
Many times, and I've also been to the West Bank, and I've been...
I know you've traveled, and obviously you have tremendous data and knowledge of what's going on around the world. Would there be peace with Israel and Palestine? We certainly hope so. They're all human beings. And when I'm in Israel and you're in a hotel, you would see that on one table, they're all speaking Hebrew. The next table, you see an Israeli person married to an Arab, and they live together and they're fine. And I'll give you one other observation. One of these days where we have a lot of international patients that come for prostate cancer to see me.
At Lenox Hill?
Yes, and in the morning, I operate on this person from one of the Arab countries. Immediately after is a patient from Israel. And when you see them on the floor and how they walk together and how you see two human beings, but you don't see two different countries.
Yes.
I tell my residents, I said, look, there's no animosity. There's no problem over here. It's when the governments and politicians get in, that's when you start having all these rockets and problems.